Yes, guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video. So I actually missed last week, so please do forgive me. But we are here today with a leg session. The goal of the session really, if I'm completely honest, is to just not have a small arse on stage, not have small glutes. So it's a little bit more glute bias in terms of kind of exercise order. A little bit higher up the order is my glute work. So you'll see that. It's actually a session I haven't shared on YouTube before. So hopefully it'll be one that you can take some different bits from, you can enjoy. And hopefully if you watch this before your training, you have a really, really good session. So I'm going to warm up now, move my hips around a little bit, and then we'll get into the first exercise. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the video. Exercise number one is actually still an ab crunch. So I've been doing this now for a couple of months, starting with abs. I never used to, but I need more abs on stage as well as I need more glutes. So it makes sense to start with abs here, hit them when I'm fresh, hit them with a bit more intent. And so far it seems to be working. Like, I'm pretty heavy right now, but midsection is better. So hopefully when I'm lean, it'll be even better. But yeah, 3 sets, just an ab crunch here. One of the biggest tips I can give you when it comes to ab training, just thinking about flexing your spine. Or just moving your spine. So when you're getting into that lengthened, you want to really think about kind of extending your spine back, almost like you're trying to like bend yourself in half, and then the opposite on the way down. So again, trying to bend your spine in half. So if you can think about kind of like extending and then rounding, it makes a big difference, makes it feel very good for your abs, and then you're not kind of just using everything else. Number 2, if you class abs as the first exercise, but let's call this first exercise of the leg part of the session. So glutenator, 1 warm-up set and then straight in, because I'm not using a crazy amount of load, and it's almost like a bit of a, not priming work, but it kind of just gets me ready for the rest of the session. Plus, like I said, I need more glutes, and this works very well. If you have access to this, do it and tell me how it feels, because my glutes feel crazy after it. So yeah, just 1 set on here. Because again, I'm not going to go overboard with it. This feels like it does everything I need with that 1 set. So it's progressed relatively well over the last couple of months. I didn't really rush progressions with it. I'm still using relatively light amount of load, but it's a lot more than what I was doing, which is the main thing. Small progressions over time, obviously. So yeah, we'll get into set number 1. Bit annoying. Foot slipped. This fucking... Still a good set, but frustrating. Up next is the adductor, or the adductor, whatever you want to call it. So I have this movement and the same machine in both leg sessions. So something you can maybe think about with that is I run 1 lower rep and 1 higher rep set. So just 1 on the 2 sessions, but it just gives me a little bit more runway and kind of novelty session to session, as opposed to running like the exact same sets every single session, because it would just come around a little bit too frequently. So this gives me the opportunity to progress 2 rep ranges. So if you have 2 similar machines, just run 2 different rep ranges in each session and you'll be sweet. adductors done. So that was, like I said, my slightly higher rep set. So I work 1 week or one session in the week is 8 to 10. And then the other is like 12, 15. So loads are relatively different. It just means I can get strong at 2 rep ranges, as I was saying. So we're now on to the Cybex ham curl. I was doing the flex. However, the Cybex is a little bit more comfortable. The gym got it in new and it's a better option in my opinion. So it's a little bit of a heavier stack, which is good because it gives me a bit more room to progress. But I still run with a slightly higher rep set for my first one and a slightly lower rep for the second. It just means that I can keep the load the same across the 2 sets and I can basically get a good set done earlier on, establish a good connection through the hamstrings to then go a little bit heavier. So it's just safer, more productive and more runway for progression. So yeah, 2 sets on here. I'll do a couple of warm-ups on here just to get things firing and then just make sure I get the absolute most out of them because this is obviously the only real hamstring movement that I have within the session. So I want to make sure it counts. Oh, yeah. First main movement now, the Nautilus glute drive. This is actually a movement that usually I would program towards the back end of the session. So it would definitely be a lot lower in the order of the session. However, I brought it right up to essentially the first main movement of the session, simply because the intensity that I attack it with earlier on is obviously considerably better. Not that I wasn't necessarily giving my all later on in the session, but it just wasn't the same as when I do it a little bit earlier on. And, you know, even in terms of like the load that I'm using now and the rate of progression that I've seen, it all makes a lot of sense as to why it's earlier on now. And hopefully that has a crossover and reflects in my physique on stage as well, because one of the areas of my physique that I really do want to bring up, like I've said loads, is, you know, my entire posterior chain. And I think having just better glutes with more muscle, they'll just look so much better because I'm able to get the condition through the glutes, but because there's not enough muscle there, it just doesn't show how I want it to and how I envision it. So this, every time I'm doing it, I'm envisioning what my glutes look like, which I encourage you to do, to be honest. Like if you have a body part that you really, really want to make better, like think about how you want it to look on stage. And that's kind of why you're doing the movement that you're doing. So yeah, that's what I'm thinking about on here is just some really hard fucking glutes. So yeah, I've progressed it well. We'll take a good few warm-ups to get up to a working set. And then we take 2 sets here. 1 set very heavy. Second set, I actually might come down a little bit because I've noticed a bit of a drop-off in quality as of lately. And I don't really want that to be the case. So yeah, I'll probably bring it down a little bit and we'll see what we get. Set one done. So I actually got a new belt recently, and it makes it feel a little bit different. I don't know if anybody's ever kind of got used to a certain thing on a machine. It's like the same when they get like new padding, it can throw everything off. So yeah, this is like, got this new belt maybe like 3-4 sessions ago. I'm still getting used to it, which, yeah, that was still a good set. And like my glutes, it's one of those where I really just look for how it feels after the set. My glutes after it feel like I've just done good work, which is what matters. But I think I'll probably come down a little bit more than I have been on the second set and just see how that feels. And if it feels better, amazing. If it doesn't, I'll just stick with the other load and just keep running it up. So yeah, we'll catch my breath a little bit and go again. Fuck. Right, I just looked back at the video of my hip thrust or glute drive, and it looks like my midsection is completely blown out, just distended as fuck. I promise you it's not. Even though I get heavy, I do try to keep my waist somewhat in check. And yeah, Jesus Christ, if it looked like that all the time, I don't know what I'd do. But anyway, we are now on to the first like quad part of the session, quad movement of the session. So it's a single leg extension. We've got loads of leg extension in this gym, which is obviously fantastic, but I opt for single leg on this session just because I enjoy it and it's something a little different, and it means that I can use this max pump that you'll see me using now, which is very good for like a single leg. So yeah, well, we're all warmed up. So pretty much just go into working sets now and just get as much pain in the quads as I possibly can. So I always start with the weaker leg as well, and then I'll kind of like match with the stronger leg. It just helps like even things out if you have one weaker side. So yeah, I always start with the weaker side. I also find that this leg, like, I can't connect as well. So doing it when I'm fresher makes a little bit more sense. Because like, if I'm sat when I'm working, like sometimes I like just tense my legs to see how it feels. And this leg's just not as responsive, which is annoying. If anyone's got any advice, let me know. You may also find as well on here, if you look at the way that I'm doing it, I almost don't get as much range as maybe the machine allows in the lengthened. Now, this isn't because I'm like trying to make it easier or bitching out or anything. It's literally because if I try to get too much, then my hips shift a little bit and I lose positioning, I lose stability, and the reps don't end up being as good. So I get a little bit more range out of it, but the overall quality of the rep isn't there. So when you are doing a leg extension, I think one of the things that has definitely improved for myself is actually like thinking about like the muscle working, not just trying to get as much range as possible or not just trying to throw the weight around, because yeah, you can throw it around and you can maybe get a little bit more stretch, but that doesn't always mean it's a better rep and a better set. So really focus on like your quads feeling fucking pumped and like they're about to burst when you get off it, and you know you've done a good job. just warming up for the 45-degree Cybex. So this now is obviously the first kind of quad compound. Very nice machine. I've progressed this pretty well as well. Like I said, I don't think you've seen this on here before. If you follow my Instagram, you would have seen it plenty of times. But yeah, I'm going to take a little progression today, about 5 kilos, see what I get, because I did a set 2 sessions ago, and then I kind of like really made up for it the following session. So I think I can definitely afford to take a little bit of load today. And I think 5 kilos should be doable. Oh, yes. Oh, okay. Woo. I'll definitely take that. So it was 5 kilos up, so just under 10 plates, which is honestly on this machine very heavy, at least for myself. Maybe there's people watching this will be like, oh, that's nothing. But I think it's relatively heavy, so I think that's a pretty decent load, to be honest with you, for that kind of like 6 to 10 rep set. The goal there was to get that. I got 7, and I actually think there was probably 8 there, but the gym's a bit quiet today. There's nobody really that I'd want to grab for a spot that's not kind of busy doing their own thing, and I don't want to interrupt people for, yeah, I don't need to. So yeah, it was a good set. There's definitely more there next time. Like I said, I sometimes find that with certain movements, you almost need to like give yourself the confidence you can do that load, do it for a set that's like good, and then the next time you can fucking attack it and do a set that's like beyond good, that's just, you know, fantastic. So that's the goal. And I think there's definitely a place for that. People will say like, don't do a weight if you can't do it, but it's not about not being able to do it. It's just about being able to do it better. And I think that sometimes requires you to do the weight before you can maybe do it to that better point. You know, it gives you the room to actually improve. And that's what I find. And that's actually helped me with quite a few movements. I did a post on Instagram about this the other day. You know, if you want to be a big natural bodybuilder, you got to get fucking strong. You got to get excited by that as well. So don't be afraid to get strong. Don't be afraid to do sets that maybe don't look perfect, but are fucking all out intensity and all there with regards to loading, while still being safe, of course. So yeah, now we're going to move on to the Rogers for a split squat. I was doing this on the Smith. However, my shoulders just do not like that at all. So this means that it's a little bit easier in terms of positioning. It feels a little bit safer, and I can get more out of what I actually want, which makes sense. It's been a decent session. I'm definitely feeling a little bit more beaten up today though. Like the hotter weather, it's kind of thrown routine off a little bit. It's like things are still all being done the same, but like, yeah, it's definitely a bit more of a struggle. Like right now in the UK, it's like, especially in Wales, 26 to 30 most days. And our house is incredibly hot, so the bedroom's all right because we're able to keep that cool. But like, yeah, just even working, it's just so hot. I'm not complaining because I like this weather, but I definitely feel a little bit more beaten up for it. So it's why I've taken like 1 set as opposed to 2 on some of the things that I kind of also regulate. So yeah, that's a good kind of example of why you would do that. But Session is now done. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. I'm not going to film calves because it's just boring, but I promise I will do them. And quick story, I actually got pulled in Spain from a guy who I was posing in the middle of the gym, which I never do. And the only thing he said was, "You've got really good calves." And I was like, "They're awful." So yeah, that wasn't great. But I guess it depends how you look at it. But anyway, that's a wrap. So hopefully you enjoyed the session. Hopefully you took something from it. If you did enjoy it, leave a comment down below. Let's just put like your favorite emoji. Let's go with that. And don't forget to like, subscribe if you're new, and we'll catch you in the next one.